Hello and welcome, everybody. This is the Astro Love Chronicles. Yes, we have a new name. And
Yes, I almost
yes,
forgot.
we
I was
do.
going to say Astro Love podcast, but yeah, we're Chronicles now.
We're Chronicles now. We are back, and yeah, we're back. We're back.
And we're
Listen,
live.
we're live.
We're
You can
yeah,
see
we're
our
recording.
faces,
You can
and
see
we're
our faces.
recording. Yeah,
Exactly.
we're back
Yeah.
by popular demand, people.
And
But yes, I'm Astro Queen.
I'm Angel Love.
And it feels so good to be back. Let me just quickly explain why we disappeared for God knows how long. I think life just took over. I don't have a real deep explanation about my absence, but life took over. It got really busy in 2024.
Yes, it did. I can't remember. Why did
What,
we
what,
take
what?
what happened?
I
Oh, I
don't
became
know.
ill. I became ill.
That's what it was. That
And
that was
then
that triggered it.
you
Yeah.
were ill for a little bit, I
Hmm.
think. And you went away.
Yes, I did. I went very far
So
away.
yeah, so I think that, and then we was just like, oh, we'll start again. Then we both became ill over Christmas. I think there's that
Yeah.
big thing on Instagram where fog vid. There was a fog. Did you see it? There was actually fog, and they were saying there's something in the fog, and everyone's sick. Well, I
There
was
was a
sick on the
fog though. I
24th.
remember that.
Yeah, I was sick on the 24th,
Uh-huh.
and I must have got better around the 28th, 29th. I felt a lot
Yeah.
better, and then you got the flu
I got the flu. I
in
was
January,
bedbound.
right? But
Yeah.
yeah.
All
And
throughout
so
New
now,
Year's, I was
yeah.
bedbound.
So
It was
now we're
horrendous.
we're recording. A
Yeah,
bit
time
late, but
flew.
better late than never.
Yeah, and we're back, and we decided to show our faces just because that's what our listeners wanted. So here we are.
Hmm.
Today, though, without further ado, we are going to explore the UK's chart, the
Yep.
New Year chart, and
Hmm.
what the year entails or has in store for the UK in terms of like, where we're at with our foundations, housing, health, for example, and yeah, whatever else we see in terms of relationships or whatever. Let's have a look. But it's definitely going to be a session where or a podcast where we talk about the nature of this year, but you can apply it kind of to your own personal life as well, can't you?
Yeah,
What,
absolutely,
what we're about to
absolutely.
share. So let me share the screen. But yeah, so good to be back.
Hmm. Share the screen. This is
Uh,
all new for us, by the way, so bear with us.
yeah, bear with us. Okay, can you see that?
Not yet.
Okay, let me
Now we
know.
can. Now I can. Yeah, great. That's it.
Amazing. Okay, do you want to kickstart? Go on,
Yeah.
Angel Love. What you got?
So we have for 2025, which is amazing. And just say Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, Happy New
And
Year, of course.
yeah, and the UK chart, what's in store for us? So I think, for the world, not just for the UK, there are some major, major changes going to happen. And we've
Mm,
got lots of planets changing, well, the outer planets changing signs. And
so here.
they're all going to hit this axis, the degree, I should say, point of 0 degrees. And
Mm-hmm.
we have to think, okay, what does kind of like zero mean? And zero is like a new beginning, a reset, times of change. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of change going on
Mm.
in the world itself, but also, we're talking about the UK. So a lot of changes are going to be implemented. I think we've seen some things already, like I've heard lots of things changing, like, you know, Thatcher's, the right to buy. They've changed
Mm-hmm.
that where they've capped it, the
Mm-hmm.
limit on how much. Education fees have changed. I think the last time was like 2017, or they were introduced at that time, so they're going up again. So people
Mm-hmm.
really have to think about um, buying homes and whether it's worth it or not, or going to university. I mean, it's going up to like 9,500. That's per year.
Nine
So,
what? 90,000?
9,500
Okay,
a
yeah.
year.
Mm-hmm.
So, that you're looking
Mm-hmm.
at, minimum almost nearly 30 grand.
I know.
If you're doing a big course that's different, like to do with dental or medical, you're paying more money. So Yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of food for thought for people, especially with things like the cost of living,
Hmm.
um,
Which doesn't
fuel
seem to be
costs.
getting any better, actually, you
No,
know.
it doesn't. There's loads of food banks more than
Mm-hmm.
ever now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's loads of changes and things going on. So I guess one of the main things was Pluto in Aquarius.
Pluto and
So that
Aquarius right
started
here.
in yeah, so that started in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a major theme. It's now out just 1 degrees now. So what does that mean for the UK? Well, changes in technology. The cashless system is pushing forward real hard now.
Mm.
I've seen things like in China where people are paying with their palm, going into
No, you
shops.
haven't.
Yeah, I saw it
Listen,
online.
stop it.
People
I've been
pay
living
with their
under a
palm.
rock, so I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on with the world right now. So what, you say they got chips in their hands?
It's biometric. So just like how in schools,
Uh-huh.
students can pay with their finger
Yeah.
for their lunch.
Yeah.
There's a palm that
Okay.
you can pay. So I don't think it's a chip. You don't need to be chipped because there was a
Okay.
big thing about being chipped and people can find where you are, but there's biometrics as well.
Yeah.
So I guess your fingerprint is unique to you. I'm assuming your palm must be unique to
Unique.
you. That's the only way that it works. So yeah, so
Okay.
there's some big major like development happening around this Pluto in Aquarius, and I can foresee, the bank, no longer the jobs will change, so bank tellers won't be needed. If we're going
Yeah.
through a cashless system, why
Yeah.
would you need a bank teller anymore?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
banks probably will close that, maybe be open for things like mortgages, or you need to see a bank, your banker for something, some business things. But as for exchange of money, I don't think
Mm.
that's gonna be, obviously it's gonna take time. I mean, I'm not
Mm.
saying next year, it might be like around 20 years or something, but children are gonna come to a point where they're gonna be like, what's money?
Mm, exactly. That's gonna
What's a
be
10 pound
so
note?
weird. It's so true.
They won't
And
know what money is.
I feel a bit bad for the older generation because they are forced to have to keep up to speed with the like quick
Mm,
and fast-paced change of technology. I'm just
yeah.
thinking about my dad.
Hmm.
There could have been a real easy way for him to kind of fix his issues with his bank and do it all online and blah blah blah. But he didn't know how to do that. So he went
Yeah.
all the way to the nearest bank, which was God knows where it was. There used to be a
Hmm.
local one near his house, just to go and get something that could be done in 5 minutes by himself
Exactly.
with get help with someone from the
Mm.
bank. And it's just like, oh, I
Change
can
is
only
hard.
imagine. Change is
Hmm.
hard, and the older you
Hmm.
get, the more we become Saturnian, the more we can become crystallized in our way of thinking about,
Hmm.
and our habits and things like that. That change becomes really difficult. But
Yeah.
actually, Pluto
And
in a
trust.
and trust,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Which is actually rule trust is connected to Pluto. But
Hmm.
Pluto does urge us and pushes us to embrace, whether we like it a lot or not, the changes that Aquarius energy brings, in terms of technology and thinking in a forward thinking way. Um,
Exactly.
but it
So
is in the
yeah,
fifth house.
hmm yeah, and Pluto and yeah, exactly. So the AI, exactly, it's in the fifth house,
Mm-hmm.
and I did get a story which is like the shadow side of AI. So a young boy who's 14, I can't remember which country, I think it's in America.
Yeah.
14 went on an AI app. So there's an app that you can talk to like a celebrity, can be your friend. And I've been on one of those. You can choose like Kim Kardashian, Einstein. And he had I don't think it was a celebrity, but he had a female friend who he got very close with.
Hold on. The
And
celebrity's AI.
yeah, so you can go, I forgot the name of the app. You can just go on one of the AI apps
Uh-huh.
and you can pick a celebrity to talk to. So you can
Okay.
ask Kim Kardashian, you can ask Einstein. Those are two that I can remember. I
Okay.
mean, there's different, yeah, there's different celebrities, and he chose a female who he got really close to,
Mm-hmm.
and she was, I think she was like his girlfriend. He was having issues at school, got very depressed, spent more time on the computer, and he said to this female, his companion, which was the AI, um, I feel like killing myself. And the AI responded, have you made a plan? When are you thinking of doing it? And the AI encouraged him to do it, and he killed himself. So that's another big thing. Yeah, he's fought it and he killed himself. Yeah, so there's this all this character kind of things happening on
Stop
AI, which is dangerous.
it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
are the celebrities supposed to mimic exactly the personalities of them? Or
It's just like conversation. So you pick the celeb. So during this, I've got this AI app on
okay.
my phone, and
Yeah.
one of the things you can do is talk to someone. It's a chatbot,
Yeah.
and you just
Yeah.
pick and then Kim Kardashian, you just put in the message. You could use Lady Diana, even. I
Oh
saw
my
one
God,
of
this is
her.
too weird for me.
Yeah, and you just talk to them, say, "Hi, how are you?" And
This
they go,
is too
"Hi, how are
weird.
you?"
Because it could
back.
be
And it's like a
anyone.
conversation. Yeah, it's just
No,
a
stop
conversation. But
it.
it's not them,
No, no,
it's
no,
not
no, no, no.
it's
Yeah,
not
I'm with
the
you.
celebrity. It's not the
Yeah.
celebrity, it's the chatbot. But they just use that face,
There's
that
gonna be some
persona.
real safeguarding issues with this app that they're
Mm,
gonna have to work on
exactly.
because
And the age, what
and the
age you can
age,
use it, and the
yeah,
type of
yeah.
topics that can be talked about. There needs to be like a ban where, something like suicide should be flagged
Mm,
up and straight
mm,
away,
mm.
told to speak to a professional, actually talk to someone, not a chatbot. And I
I
think,
don't think anyone should build AI technology. I don't think it's for anyone. Do you know what I mean? I
mhm,
think whoever builds a product for the world to use needs to have their head screwed on. They need to
yeah,
understand mental health and, I don't know,
exactly. And, the
addiction and
person that built it probably wasn't in the thinking, oh, someone's gonna, a little 14-year-old boy's gonna say, I'm gonna kill
right.
myself. And the AI says, okay, why don't, kind of encourages, why don't you
Yeah.
try it or something? So, yeah, that's what's happened. So that's like a shadow side of it. But with everything, there's a shadow. So yeah,
You know what? I watched Subservience the other day whilst I
I
was on
heard
my
that.
deathbed. You heard about that movie?
But yeah, subservient. Yeah, tell me
Yeah,
about it.
with Megan Fox. And it just reminds me of Pluto in Aquarius.
Oh, I watched that. Is that the one where she's turns into a killer AI?
Yeah, so the whole point of her was to obviously be of service to her owner,
Yeah.
and be a maid and be a babysitter, a chef, because the wife, the man's
Hmm.
wife, she was in hospital.
Yeah.
And she was dealing with some issues or whatever. And,
Hmm.
life, I think it was a life or death situation. But anyways,
Yeah.
regardless, she was a robot. So he bought her from this like a robot convention,
Hmm.
and she became this maid or whatever. But eventually she started to kind of lure him into like this sexual connection, and she was
Hmm.
attractive. I think, as Megan Fox. But
Fox. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even the way she was dressed, she was a maid. She looked like a maid, but it was just like borderline. Like, why would you dress
Hmm.
a robot like that almost? Um, so, anyways, eventually he did kind of cave into her attraction and they had intercourse.
Hmm.
And this just reminds me of Pluto and Aquarius because, sorry, Pluto and Aquarius, but also in the fifth house, the house of
Hmm.
romance, the house of fun. And also Aquarius being this energy of like unconventional and
Hmm.
unique, different, weird. And so
Yeah.
for me, that movie fits right in there because obviously, that is a weird situation. But I wouldn't be surprised if we hear people, the collective, having more access to like more AI type sexual technology toys type things to play around with.
Absolutely. I see
Do
that
you know what I
coming.
mean?
It's probably there already,
It's
quite
probably there
expensive
already.
to buy. Exactly.
Right,
I could
exactly.
just see people being, yeah, really into that.
So that's interesting. But just in general, we are going to be just because it is fifth house energy, focused
Hmm.
on having very, first of all, networking and connecting with people that can allow you to have transformative conversations and
Hmm.
connections, particularly in relationships, perhaps, because the fifth house is about relationships. It's
Yeah.
also about creativity and children.
Hmm.
So, like, we might have a deeper connection with children, maybe in terms of education as well. There might be a deeper
Hmm.
connection in some way, or transformation in the educational systems.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's really interesting though because it that Pluto is opposing Mars.
Yeah.
So from a
Oh,
U
yeah, yeah,
yeah, from a UK perspective and from like a
yeah. Hmm.
global collective perspective, that's not good in terms
Hmm.
of because also Mars is retrograde. So
Yeah.
our planet, the planet of action and motivation and go, 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 is being reversed. And
Yeah.
so that energy is very inward because it's retrograde. So we're going to feel a lot of like conflicting kind of frustration, energy within us. And with the opposition to Pluto, that's just a disaster waiting to happen, almost,
Hmm.
you know? And I think in terms of the 11th house, because Mars is in the 11th house, that's connected to networking and groups and
Yeah.
alliances, I guess,
Hmm.
and dreams and hopes and wishes.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be, I think, in terms of like the rest of our relationship with the rest of the world, there's gonna be conflict, you know, which
Hmm.
we've seen already. We've seen, I think it's seeped through from last year up until now,
Yeah.
the conflict that we've been seeing. But I'd be interested to see how it kind of unfolds moving forward. But I don't think it's good in terms of our relationships with other countries, our alliances,
Hmm.
maybe. Uh, we there might be an end to certain alliances and beginnings of new ones. I don't know, you
Hmm.
know. I think I'd be interested to see. I mean, I don't know much about politics and
Yeah.
foreign, you know, foreign land and how we all kind of like get on and how we don't get on and what
Yeah.
causes
Yeah.
friction and you know what I mean? And the
Hmm.
WHO, the World Health Organization, all of that. But I just think in terms of the Pluto Mars, it's concerning. And I don't know. End
Yeah.
end of wars, beginning of new ones. You know, I
Hmm.
just think that war stuff is going to be ongoing, regardless.
Hmm. And I
But yeah,
think,
I think it'd be interesting to also address this ascendant just really quickly.
okay. Hmm.
Just because it is Libra, it's Libra
Hmm.
ascendant, so it's an air sign. So just generally, our essence for the UK is we're going to want to connect with people. We're going to want to socialize, be out there, and you know, be charming. It's a charming energy, so we're going to want to connect with
Hmm.
people in a way that's charming and kind and fair. Um, but what I think is really interesting is that Venus, the ruler of Libra,
Is
is
in that
in
fifth house.
Aquarius. Yeah, so the way we communicate and want to connect with people is going to be very interesting, very unique. But it's squaring Uranus. So that's going to bring some very kind of like, even though we kind of, our essence, like our natural inclination would be to want to connect with people in a
Hmm.
fair and, you know, I suppose charming way. Uranus is going to make it very difficult to do that, you know, just because Uranus, the planet Uranus, is
Hmm.
destructive. You know, he's a generational planet, so he's a big energy that just wants fresh everything, a fresh
Hmm.
oversight, fresh
Change.
consciousness, and fresh new set of eyes, essentially. And
Hmm.
I think he does that by causing destruction and you have to expect the unexpected. So the way that we
Yeah.
kind of socialize in general over the course of the year, it's going to be really quite unique and disruptive in some way and just kind of like just really different. I don't know if I'd articulated that properly, but that's
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of changes in the way that, we socialize and connect and in
even
our
romance.
creativity, romance.
Romance is
So,
going to take a
and
shift.
if it's in that AI, online dating, AI, all that kind of things,
Yeah, we're going to be
social
forced to,
media,
would you say sexual media?
social media,
Our social media, but also
well,
sexual
maybe you
media.
brought something into fruition there. I wasn't thinking that, but sexual media is that Mars and Pluto, opposition there. So yeah, sexual media. Who
Listen,
knows?
I think sexual
Porn
media is going
media,
to go
whatever's
through the
going on.
roof.
I
But my
think you
worry
started
is with
something
this.
there.
Yeah, yeah, we need to talk after this.
Mhm.
But no, I'm joking. But I think what's going to be interesting is the shake-up of our values as well, because Venus is values, and
Mhm.
Uranus is a shake-up. So just in general, the way we express ourselves and the way we kind of share our values, we're going to all have different perspectives that people probably wouldn't usually possess in the past. People's
Mhm.
changed views and perspective on how they make money, for example, because Venus is money, how they have fun, how they socialize, all of that is going to change in some way, shape, or form this year and moving forward. And that's to accommodate again that Pluto in Aquarius theme that we're seeing for the next 20
Mhm.
years, by the way, we forgot to say Pluto is in Aquarius for 20 years in that
Mm.
fifth house, and then he'll move into Pisces. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, the new moon. What do you think?
Yes, the new moon in Capricorn. It's in our fourth house. So again, I guess that's more about the home,
Yeah, you
about
mentioned the
how,
home.
yeah, the home, how we, being more practical,
Mm,
making maybe more time is spent at home as well, because things are changing in terms of the cost of living, people not having a lot more money, maybe things like there's more ways to entertain ourselves online as well. I feel
mm,
that's a big thing that's changed, especially with the even fifth house with the younger people, a lot with the new consoles like the PS5s and
mm.
is it VAR where you put it on your eyes and you can on your
Yeah.
face and you can see people falling over and punching things, you're just seeing. So I think there's a lot of more practical, more maybe more structure needed more within the home. People's just
Hmm.
really just having more of more, I guess, Capricorn kind of like emotionally, maybe not connecting more homely, emotionally at home as well with family. I feel
Yeah,
there's
because of the Capricorn energy is quite cold,
yeah,
isn't it?
and
Mm.
yeah, and just being because I'm still thinking about the Pluto and the Mars axis and how that will affect the home as well. And I just feel
Mm.
like there's more that axis is going to affect the fourth house as well because we're just going to be more home, more less maybe our fun is going to be at home as well, more as well. So if we're
Mm.
online, we're gonna maybe everyone's going to be at home but not really connecting. Going to be on
Yeah.
their phones, socializing. So
Mm.
and then like you said, it's a bit cold, so maybe there's less of that kind of love and nurturing going on in the home where there's more of
Mm.
a I don't know, I don't want to say yeah, separation
I
if you're
think,
not careful, if you don't
yeah.
handle it properly and
Mm.
make time to put your phone down, make time to put all the gadgets down
Go back
and
to
kind of
tradition, tradition, tradition,
yeah, and structure your
tradition.
time properly. So
Yeah.
board games and just connecting to what's going on in your day-to-day life.
I think what's interesting is the moon is trine Uranus exact.
Mm,
So that would definitely bring in an element of like I think breaking the status quo, but also
mm,
I don't know, keeping a traditional perspective as well. I don't know how that's gonna play out. It's a bit of a weird one, but the moon doesn't like it in Capricorn. So yeah, she's kind of emotionally detached. And she's about structure and order.
mm,
But I think in the mundane sense as well, like you mentioned housing and the cost of living and all of this stuff. And it's like,
mm,
yeah, we're gonna definitely gonna see some shifts with our foundations, what makes our country, solid and strong. So that would be our housing systems, our just day-to-day lives, our transport systems and everything else that keeps the country running effectively we'll see some changes more than likely around that. So yeah, cost of living higher, housing higher, maybe in terms of social housing and having access that could change as well.
mm,
Because I know it's a bidding system right now, but that could change completely, especially with
mm,
the Uranus square in the moon and therefore probably having an impact on our general sense of stability with home.
mm. And maybe a
Um,
lot more home businesses, people becoming a bit more ambitious, trying to make more
mm,
money. So they're working from home a lot more.
yeah.
Um, or got a second business that keeps them online at home, where they
Mm.
can make more money that way as well.
True. That's a good point. Just conscious of time, but I wanted to touch on a couple of more things quickly, like
Hmm.
the fact that Mercury is in full in Sagittarius in the third house. So Mercury is to do with the mind, connection, movement, commuting, communication. In the third
Hmm.
house, the house of everyday journey and everyday travel, everyday learning. So there's definitely, as always, we're going to be busy. We're always busy
Hmm.
here in the UK, particularly in
Hmm.
London. So there's going to be lots of movement, lots of mental connection and going back and forth. I think what's really interesting is that there is a square. He is squaring Saturn.
Hmm.
So in general, there might be just some frustration. So we might get some news about particular things, particularly around, I don't know, travel, short distance travel and health, because the sixth house, Saturn's in the sixth house,
Hmm.
the house of health. So we might hear some news that we might not necessarily like around the NHS maybe because it's health.
Hmm.
Um, or anything pertaining to health and disease, for example, or just the way that we have
Hmm.
to work, just our nature in terms of working every day on a day-to-day basis, that there might be some conversation or some news around that could pertain to change or restrictions. Saturn restricts, so there might be some restriction around the way that we move and commute. Do you know what I mean? And go from A to B. And also with
Hmm.
Neptune being there as well. I don't know. For me, Neptune dissolves everything. And when he's in the sixth
Hmm.
house, listen, you're misdiagnosed forever. I think in
Yeah.
terms of the UK and collectively with our
Hmm.
health, we need to be mindful of our health, take our vitamins, our day-to-day gym stuff, routines, whatever, all pertaining to health. Really important because if we are sick, even though it'll bring about lots of empathy and, care from the health professionals, great, we could be susceptible to misdiagnosis as well because of that Neptune. So that would be interesting.
Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very, very interesting.
Yeah. We need to
Yes.
talk on that, touch on the NHS at some point, as well. But did you want to say anything else before we close?
Um, I guess with that the NHS as well, I
Mm,
guess AI is going to be involved in there somewhere
hell
along
yeah.
the lines, and just seeing possibly more less communication with the doctors at the first point.
Mm,
um, Maybe, being like consultations with AI more, once they develop it better, and then maybe seeing a doctor at last points. So there might be points of entry, especially if you're dealing with the NHS, where you're going to be online, tapping
yeah.
in your symptoms, doing all that kind of stuff before you can see a doctor. And I feel like that could be a big change. And, maybe misdiagnosis could happen from that point of view, with
Mm,
Neptune there.
mm.
Um, so yeah, that was all you said, most things. So that was added to that.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good point. I wanted to also say really quickly, we don't always talk about Chiron, but we do plan to talk about Chiron at some point. I think in the past we had said we were going to talk about Chiron, but Chiron is the wounded healer and is right here. So
Mm,
remember we spoke about Venus squaring Uranus and how moving forward, socializing and connecting romantically is going to be quite unconventional and unique.
hmm.
But I think what's going to be really interesting, the fact that Chiron is in the seventh house, the house of diplomacy, contracts, marriage.
Hmm.
There's going to be lots of wounds around there. There's going to be some deep healing we're going to have to kind of go through throughout the year. Around, I
Mm.
feel like marriages are going to collapse in some way, like, or there's going to be
Or
lots
less
of
less marriages,
less marriages. I mean, it's almost inevitable, but the
Hmm.
Chiron is there and it does suggest wounds for marriages and contracts and whatever it is that we've committed ourselves for kind of on a formal diplomatic basis. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So in closing, Angel Love, I love
Yes.
this. I don't know why we waited so long, but I'm glad we're back. Our next
It
podcast
was
will
a
be
quick one, quick and short.
quick and
Look,
short. And I
you.
think we're going to keep that momentum going for now, just because it just seems to fit our lifestyles. But our next one's going to be about manifestation, right, Angela?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Manifestation. It's the new year, so let's talk about how we can implement some new beginnings in our lives
Mm,
using the
mm.
zodiac, using the horoscope, using the planets to kind of help us get to the goals that we want to achieve. So, on that note, it was great to be here. Let's close. I'm
Yes,
Astro Queen.
pleasure. And I'm Angel Love.
Peace out, everyone.